Hello everyone and welcome to today's live stream. You applied what now? My name is Marta and I will be your host today. We'll be going through a lot of things today, covering what happens after you submit your UCAS application, when you should start thinking about booking your accommodation, and why DMU might be the right place for you. I've got a couple of guests today with me. Would you mind introducing yourself?
Of course, yeah. My name's Ben. I'm part of the School and College Liaison team here at Montfort University.
My name is Aman. I study international business and I'm a final year.
Hi, my name is TJ. I'm in my third year as well and I study adult nursing.
Thank you so much. This is an interactive session, so I can see that we have a lot of comments. It's lovely. If you do have any questions for us, you are more than welcome to ask them at any point and we'll try to answer them as quickly as possible for you. So I've got a couple of things to go through today. Let's start from the beginning. Many of our viewers will be at a stage where they submitted their 5 choices. Ben, could you kind of go through what they can expect, what will happen kind of from now?
Sure. Well, first of all, congratulations to those of you that have submitted their 5 choices onto UCAS. You've got over the sort of biggest sort of hurdle in terms of applying through to university, so that's great. Well done you. When you actually apply through UCAS, your 5 choices, they get sent to the respective universities that you've put onto your UCAS application. Now, the universities you've applied for, they don't know where else that you've applied, so those applications are sent to those universities anonymously. After you have submitted, there will be a little bit of a lull period while those universities make a decision based on those applications that you've made. So hopefully you should start to hear back from universities at any point from sort of now all the way through to March if you haven't already. So if you're still waiting on any offers, obviously don't panic. The universities will still be making decisions based on those offers. So you don't need to sort of start chasing the universities at this stage. Hopefully you should hear back from them very, very soon. You can keep an eye on that all on your UCAS, so you can log into your UCAS and see the status of your application. And it's always worth just checking back on that periodically if you've not heard anything yet, just in case the university needs any additional bits of information from you, or they might be looking to invite you for, let's say, an interview or an audition, or if they need a portfolio submission. You'll see all of those updates actually physically on your UCAS application, so you can check it all out on there. Once the universities have gotten back to you and you've hopefully got back your 5 choices, that's when you're able to narrow down to your 2 choices. Your firm choice, the one that you really want to go to, that's your main option, and your insurance choice, so this would be your backup choice. Now, it's important to note that with your insurance choice, that will only come into play if you are unsuccessful with getting a position in your firm choice. So when it comes to results day in August, you'll then know whether you've been secured a place with your firm choice or you've sort of been back down into your insurance choice. So make sure that you are thinking about what university choices, what university options you're going to narrow down to your firm and your insurance when you are making that decision. Now, depending on when your last university gets back to you, you will have a different deadline that you need to pick your firm and choice, your pick for your firm and insurance choice. So you'll be able to see on the screen, hopefully, you've got a couple of deadlines to just be aware of. So you've got 31st of March is when you'll sort of receive your offers from, and that will be when you're applying by the 6th of May. And you can see those other dates on screen as well. So it's just something to be aware of. Those dates will be coming thick and fast over the course of the next few months in terms of those decisions that you then need to make.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So when students get their offers back, there's 2 kinds of offers that they can receive, right?
Yes.
It's conditional and unconditional offer. Would you mind explaining what they mean and what students need to do with both of them?
Absolutely.
Or can do.
Yeah. So for those of you, most university students will receive what's called a conditional offer. So a conditional offer essentially means that provided that you meet the conditions of whatever that course may be, they will then be able to accept you onto the course. So for example, that might be that you've submitted your UCAS application based on your predicted grades, but the condition is that you meet those grades when you complete your exams over the summer and you receive your results in August. It might also be that they're looking for other criteria. So again, it might be something like a portfolio submission. It might be an interview if you're looking to apply for, let's say, a healthcare course, for example. It might also be something like an audition, for example. So there's lots of different things to consider when you're actually looking to apply for those courses, and definitely something to think about when you receive that conditional offer to make sure that you are meeting whatever criteria that university has asked for. The other type of offer that you might see is something called an unconditional offer. So an unconditional offer essentially means that you've already met the criteria, the requirements for that particular course. So if an unconditional offer is received, it means you've secured that place and you don't need to sort of worry moving forward because you've already met the requirements. Most of you will receive a conditional offer because there'll be other things and other factors you'll need to consider, but it's just worth bearing in mind that those are the offers that you might receive.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Ben. So you may be wondering what the spinning wheel in the background is for. Obviously, deciding what university you're going to pick as your firm and insurance is very difficult. There's kind of a lot of things to consider. So we thought that we would make advising on how to narrow down your choices as a bit of a fun game for our students. So quiz them. Every single caller has a question about either DMU or the general application process assigned to them. And we'll be spinning the wheel to see what kind of questions we get. So shall we start? I need to move to a different microphone with my colorful questions. Okay, wonderful. You should be able to hear me if everything is working correctly. Okay, let's spin the wheel. This is taking a long time.
I was going to say that.
The tension is rising.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay, yellow. Let me find question. Yellow question. Okay, wonderful. What's your favorite place on campus?
Mine is the Vijay Patel building. There's a rooftop area there. It is very nice during the summer. So if you do come on campus, like on open days or whatever, you should try to go there definitely. But it is really, really nice because you get to see kind of Leicester. Leicester's not that big actually. Get to see a lot of it from there. Yeah, definitely that place.
It's good that it's not because everything is within a walking distance, but there's still a lot of stuff going on in the city. So it's this kind of good of both worlds of like a big city and still like walkable distance.
For sure. You can see the stadium actually from there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Must be good weather.
Yeah, it's got to be good weather. If you're up there when it's raining, you're just going to get
No,
wet.
when it's windy, it's horrid up there because it's like so cold. But during summer, it's nice. Yeah.
How about you?
I'll say the library, you know. We have a library called Kimberlin Library. It's open literally 24/7. I don't know. I think it's really safe there. I've been there like overnight and it's really safe. Everyone's lovely. Like, it's just so nice to be in. But yeah.
Thank you so much. Let's try another question. Hopefully that won't take that long to stop. And now we don't get yellow again.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's going to be yellow again. No.
No.
Blue. Okay, perfect. Actually, I've got blue in front of me. What was the most important thing to you when choosing your firm choice?
I think for me was how I will be learning. So the modules. So I do international business. So for me, it was important to see the other course, like other university, and see which modules I actually enjoyed. And DMU did the one I really enjoyed, basically the culture and everything, and also block teaching. The way like it was separated, I feel like that makes really easy to learn and make friends as well because you get to stick around with the same people, and also you get feedback very fast. So definitely was block teaching and the modules.
I think it's really important with modules because obviously a lot of universities, the modules narrowing it down to actually specifically what you're going to be studying from year 1, year 2, year 3.
Yeah.
I think it's really important that students do actually consider that all the way through their 3, potentially 4 years. You don't just go, oh yeah, first year looks great, let's just do that. But actually narrowing it down your study across all those 3 years, it can make such a difference in terms of knowing what direction that course is going to take.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. Doing your research into your modules, understanding what you're going to be getting out of that.
For me, was also the placement option in between because my course actually allowed it. So it was nice to see that I actually could go abroad or do a placement year in between. So I think that's one thing for students to think about, maybe look at if that's an option for that as well. But yeah. that was one of the reasons.
Amazing, thank you. How about you, TJ?
I would say a few different things, to be fair, but the first thing for me was like the structure of the course, because the modules are important as well, but the structure, how it's been structured. I study nursing, and with nursing we have our placements integrated into the course. So it was quite nice to know that, okay, I have placement and then I have lectures, because some people mix them up. So you have placement today, you have lectures tomorrow, but DMU is not like that. So you can actually focus on something at a time, if that makes sense. Another thing was the diversity. So I feel like there's a community for everyone. Like whatever you're looking for, whatever your, I don't know, whatever your, whatever is important to you, you'll definitely find it in DMU. There's so many things here, so that's one thing I really enjoyed. And lastly, I would say the support available. Even from my application, there was a lot of support. I got a lot of support, so for me that was really important, and that helped me to make a decision, like, you know what, I will go to DMU. But yeah,
I think even for us as staff members, it's a very supportive community, not only for students, but also like in terms of work, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And there's always just so much sort of, different activities and stuff happening on campus as well. I walked onto campus earlier, and in our students' union there was lots of stalls and different sort of pop-ups of things that you can go and interact with and see. And I think one of them did also have a spinning wheel as well. So I'm assuming you've just stolen that from them. But it was really nice to see, and just see all the students kind of getting involved with different activities and stuff on campus. So it creates quite a sort of nice atmosphere.
Okay, wonderful. Final question then.
Yeah. Hopefully we get pink.
Pink.
Yeah.
I think purple.
So we're aiming for pink. We've got bets on pink.
It's not going to be pink anyway.
Oh no.
Oh,
Oh,
can't
isn't
go.
it blue again?
Okay.
Yeah.
One more spin.
Pink. Okay.
Oh, how come?
gone now.
It's pink. Let me find pink. I bet it's the one that I dropped on the floor. Yep. So, what's your favorite thing about studying at DMU? What a great question you chose.
I think diversity, as mentioned before, but also the career support. So there's a lot of opportunity here. So when I started in first year, I actually had no job experience at all. So we do a lot of opportunities like frontrunner, ACE internship, and they're all just for DMU students specifically. So I remember first year I applied it. I was so nervous, but I got through. Obviously, I got it. It was so good because it's your first job. DMU is there to support you, and they're very easy on you because they know you're a student, and that actually also helped me secure my placement as well. So I don't think many universities do that internal support, internal jobs, and also we get to work with external companies as well. If you do like ACE internship, they're around Leicester. So again, getting involved with that community is very good. That's one thing.
It's so good, like when you go to apply for a placement, you've got something to talk about if you do your kind of short internship before.
Because all I had was pizza shop experience. I did it one
Customer
day.
service,
Yeah.
loads of
And
things.
so it's good to have that, and because when you're a front runner or even ACE intern, it's actual job. You have responsibilities. It's not just sitting around doing nothing. So those type of skills you get to learn that are very important. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
For me, I would say the support available. I'm telling you, DMU, I don't know what it is, but they support you so much. Like anything you want to do, like even on my placement, when I actually go on placement, I still receive support while on placement. So it's not even only in lectures, even on placement, we have like an academic assessor who can even come into your placement to see how you're doing. So there's so many support available, and even in comparison to other universities that I've heard about and that I know about, like in terms of like the career team she's talking about, they literally help you to structure your CV. Like they support you with everything you have to do. I know there's a particular support available for if you want to start a business. I can't remember what it's called. So like it's not entrepreneurship, something like that. So it's not even only about reading and studying, but every single thing you want to do, there is like a community there to actually help you, to support you. I remember my first week in DMU, like it felt like I've been here a long time, because like, there was just always someone. If I had a question, I can just tell someone. I think a few days ago I had an assignment, and I messaged like 3 different lecturers, just because I wasn't sure who was going to respond to me first. So I just messaged like 3 of them, and I got a response from every single one of them. I was so surprised, like every single one of them. So yeah, I think for me, that's my favorite thing about DMU. Someone is always there to help you, and I think it's very reassuring to have as well.
Oh, that's really lovely to hear. Okay.
And tying in with that as well, like we've got so many students like yourselves that are work as ambassadors, and you're able to sort of pick up those additional shifts. So you're getting that kind of experience, being able to sort of be a part of the DMU community, support on open days, and all the work that we do in and around the university, and obviously doing stuff like this as well is always really exciting. So
I think one thing I love about DMU is how employability focused it is. Like after this, I am actually going to Future U program, which is employability based program that I'm doing for final years. I'm so excited for that, because that's every year there's something to do, like Lead and Inspire. There's something for business to do. You get to win actual money. There's actual companies like involved, like Amazon, Enterprise, that big companies. So that's one thing about DMU is you get to do so much. So if you're worried about employability, that this is the place to come, because you will get all the support that you need.
I think with like, for example, our art and design students being able to do a lot of showcasing of their work during the degree show in the summer, and then getting sort of companies and employers come around to actually see the work that they've created as part of their studies. That's another really big one. If you're looking to apply for an art and design subject, there's a lot of opportunities to just showcase as much of your work to lots of different employers, which is also brilliant.
Okay, we can keep chit-chatting for ages, but we have to move on. So I'll put the microphone down. Please mute me, because I'll... I asked for our wonderful people working in the background to mute the microphone, because I can't put it softly and I keep just dropping it. Okay, wonderful. We've got a final special guest for today. It's our placement student, Aroyo, who's studying aeronautical engineering. A difficult word for me to say. And she joined us to talk about her student experience with us. So let me just add Aroyo to the screen. Hello, how are you?
Hello, I'm fine, thank you. Thank you for having me.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing really well, thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. Would you mind telling us a little bit about your experience of studying at DMU and your current placement?
Yes, sure. So my name is Aroyo Chele. I completed my second year of aeronautical engineering at DMU, and I was very lucky to land an engineering placement at GE Aerospace. So my experience at DMU has been amazing. Since I joined as an international student. I came to the UK alone. However, there's always teams to support you in DMU. There's the international student support team, as well as your lecturers who are always there to support. In terms of work experience, there's a lot of ways that you can gain work experience, such as the ACE internship, DMU Made, and front runners as well. I personally took, I participated in STEM Ploy. I participated in DMU Women in STEM Power, in which women in STEM came together to learn more employability skills. This was like a 4-week course. So yeah, DMU is really good at preparing you for the work environment and helping you gain the skills required to thrive in a professional setting. When I started looking for my placement, I didn't even know how to structure a CV. I was very confused. I didn't know anything about that. However, there's the DMU careers team who helped me in every single step in how to structure my CV. And then I would also, after tailoring my CV, I'd go to them and they'd have a look and help me make it more specific to what I'm trying to say and help me adjust the areas to highlight my skills better, which was really good. Even while on placement, I have a placement tutor who has met with my manager here at GE Aerospace, and she's also very supportive. I'm able to reach out to her anytime with questions that I have. And yeah, it's been really good. And DME is very supportive towards my whole placement experience, which I'm pleased to have because I'm now gaining employability skills. I'm on track for being a chartered engineer, which is something that I've always wanted to do, even prior to joining DME.
Oh, that's really amazing to hear. If you had to choose kind of one thing that you like about DMU most, what do you think it would be for you?
What I like the most is the opportunities. There's literally so many opportunities that looking back, I'm like, I couldn't even do this. I couldn't do this, but I still did a lot. So there's like DMU Global. There's a lot of opportunities that you can take advantage of, either as an international or home student. And yeah, that's the main thing I love the most. You can also take part in student leadership, and yeah, so many activities which you can take part of and help you build your CV as well, so to have you career ready. Yeah.
And you still have a whole year to take advantage of the remaining opportunities. So we'll see you on campus very soon, and I'm sure you'll, take advantage of all the other things that are available to you. Is there any advice that you have? Just a final question before we let you go and go back to your very busy placement. Any advice for people just applying?
Yes. Advice for people applying for placement would be to believe in yourself. Don't have imposter syndrome. Like, don't think that the company you want to apply to is too big for you. Like, you're a DMU student, you will get it. DMU has a good track record of placing students in big companies such as GE Aerospace, Rolls-Royce, Aston Martin, BMW. So if I was able to get GE Aerospace, if other students are able to get into big companies, then you can do it as well. Don't only aim for smaller companies thinking that you may have a higher chance. Also take advantage of the careers team who are there to support you with during the time of applying. They can help you with your CV, with your cover letter, and also on My Gateway, you can practice for video interviews as well. So that's a really good tool to utilize before having the actual interview when you get to that stage.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I think that's all the questions we have for you. Thank you so much for joining us, and we really look forward to seeing you on campus very soon.
Yes, thank you. I look forward to being on campus as well.
Thank you. Bye-bye, Aroyo.
Bye. Cheers.
Oh, that was wonderful. Ooh. Sorry, a bit of an echo. So we've got a couple of questions. I think it would be a good idea to ask them now. So we have, one of the questions is, do you have to wait for all 5 uni offers to come through before choosing first and second uni offer?
Ideally, I think it's best to do so. You don't want to sort of put all your eggs in one basket, so to speak. So I think it's best if you do wait for all 5 of your choices to go through, and that's when you'll then obviously be able to make your firm and insurance offers at that stage.
But can you? I thought that it's not allowed unless you...
I don't think you can. If you're waiting for any sort of late offers after the submission deadline, so if there are any universities that are still dragging their feet a little bit on those offers, then you might be able to make some of those decisions later on. But I think you do have to wait for all 5 of your choices to go through, as far as I'm aware. But it is always best to wait, just so that you've got those offers in the bag and you've got them secured. And we're going to come on to talk a little bit about things like UCAS Extra later anyway. But it's always good to just make sure that you know what all of your options are before you make those final decisions. And it obviously gives you that opportunity to come along to a DMU open day and sort of have a look at things like accommodation, which again we'll touch on in a second, before you sort of make that sort of final decision in terms of where you're going to go.
And also a lot of universities, once they give you an offer, they have applicant days, which are a bit more bespoke and a good opportunity to kind of see the campus in a different light than an open day offers. So we have upcoming applicant days, and all of our applicants would have received an invite. One of them is in March, then one in April. So if you're an applicant, then kind of check your inbox, because you would have received an invite to those.
Definitely worth coming along, because it just gives you an opportunity again to get a bit more involved in the community that you might want to be involved in when you make your final decisions. Allows you to sort of meet some of your academics, go along to tasters. So it just gives you lots of opportunities to get a bit more of an insight into the university before you make those final decisions, which I think is really important.
Okay. Next question. You're an expert on that topic, so I'm not necessarily sure even what this question is about. Can you speak about the new funding system, please?
Gosh, okay. I mean, I guess it will depend if they are a home or an international student. So there could be a lot of questions sort of around that. So I'm not 100% sure. Obviously, if you've seen in the media, there's obviously been various sort of adjustments and changes to UK student finance. So if you're interested in learning a little bit more about that, I haven't got the facts and figures in front of me at the minute, particularly for the sort of upcoming changes, but I definitely definitely, again, with regards to the funding, always make sure you're doing your research, having a look at some of the finance numbers on the student finance website, for example, and just making sure that you sort of understand what the sort of ins and outs and the processes will be. I guess in sort of line with the conversation topic of this live stream, one of the things that you will have to think about fairly soon is your student finance application. And I think it is really important that you do start getting the ball rolling on that, particularly, say, for UK students. You are able to start looking at student finance from sort of late February onwards. They haven't announced the date that student finance will be open just yet, but when it does, do make sure you keep an eye out for it and do your application as early as you can. Typically speaking, you can do your application before you've made your final decision on your firm choice offer. So all you would need to do is just make sure that to go in, and whoever you do choose as your firm choice, you would then add that to your UCAS application. If for any reason you decide to change your firm choice university offer, you'll then need to go back into your student finance and adjust that later on. But it would be important to just get the ball rolling on that soon as possible. But yes, without knowing sort of what funding system they're talking about, there's obviously different routes that they can have a look at there. And again, going along lines of the sort of support networks and things that we've spoken about today, there's obviously additional support and welfare opportunities that they can have a look at as well.
Okay, wonderful. There is one question about accommodation that I will leave for a tiny bit later because we will be going to the topic of accommodation just in a moment. But we have some questions to students as well. So when the students applied, what made DMU stick out to them that made them choose going to DMU rather than other universities? We chatted about that yesterday, didn't we? So would you mind kind of giving your views on that?
For me, it was definitely the modules. So I did like sit down one day and just went through all the universities and looked at like what they were offering, and the modules really like appealed to me, and it's something I wanted to do. So basically, I wanted to do languages, but also did business. So that was a good combination between the two. So I wanted that as well, and also employability. So I did obviously go talk with the careers team, just kind of find out like if I'm going to be able to get a job by the end of this degree, you know, because I need help. But yeah, I think those are the two things that made me choose. Yeah.
I think for me, it was DMU was really welcoming. I missed all the 5 offers I got. I just found that DMU was so welcoming. Like I feel like I had so many questions to ask in that short period of time. So I will call DMU and I'll be like, oh, I just wanted to ask about this, and they were never once like, oh, why are you calling or something like that. They were always like, oh yes, what do you want to ask about? We can help you, or I can signpost you to someone. You can check this, you can check that. Because I think, for example, when I wanted to start, I was a bit confused about like my stand if I was like an Olmsted or international student, but there was always someone there to help me. Whereas some universities would just be like, well, we don't know. But like DMU was always there. They were like, oh, okay, yeah, what do you want me to do? Like, do you want me to do this for you? Do you want me to do that for you? So there was always someone there to just answer my questions. And to me, that was really important, because I wanted to make sure that, okay, if I'm getting all the support and I've not even started at this university, so when I actually do start, how much more support can I actually get? So for me, that was kind of like the main thing that made me pick it. And funny enough, even my mom was like, they're really supportive, like they're really welcoming. Like I remember I received a call and I was like, who is this? And it was a DMU student calling me, and she was like, oh, I'm just checking up on you. Do you have any questions? Anything you want to know about? So to me, that was just really reassuring. And I just felt like, okay, I can probably achieve and get so much more from this. So that's why I picked DMU as my firm choice.
That's really lovely to hear, because it's our
We've won over the mums.
Yeah,
that's good. That's what we like to hear.
It's our inquiries team now would most likely be the ones picking up the phone, and it's a lovely, lovely team. And I think that's it's always nice, especially when you're 18.
Literally, like, you're not
stressed.
sure, you're just scared. Am I making the right decision?
Yeah.
All those things, but yeah.
That's really lovely to hear. Okay, a couple more questions. So does the Montfort University support students with travel such as train tickets? We have the hospital hopper that is free for students within Leicester. It very much depends kind of how far away you are. As a student as well, you are entitled to a discount on train tickets. I'm using it still, very barely, past the age of 30, but I still can use it for one more year. But as a student, you definitely get, I think it's 30% off. It very much, there is some support for students, and then some specifically in Leicester. if our wonderful Riley in the back would be able to send a link to kind of travel to, I think there's a website commuting for students, which will have more information about that. So we will link that in the chat for you to look through. Next question is it possible to apply to alternative student finance for 2026 intake?
Again, good question. I'm not sure what they mean by alternative student finance. Again, unless they are sort of international students, in which case it might be worth sort of clarifying that with our inquiries team. I would be wary about any other sort of alternative student finance routes. I'm not quite sure what that one means. So yeah, I would sort of have a look at the government websites and go through the sort of formal, if you're a UK student, again, go through the sort of formal processes of student finance, just so that, again, you're aware of the ins and outs of that. And it is important to say to make sure you find the correct website for that. There are some potential sort of not official student finance websites, so try not to get caught out on those. Make sure that you're using the official links through the .gov website.
Okay, we'll answer the final question before we move on to accommodation, and then we'll continue answering questions throughout the live stream. So please keep them coming. Oh, sorry, wrong of me. So when do we know if we're fully in the university? Is it after results day?
Yes. So there is a process sort of that's called confirmation. So if you have, let's say, for example, you've secured us as one of your firm choices or as your firm choice, what you were able to do is you will see it reflected on your UCAS application at some point during the day, but there will be opportunities for you to call our phone lines early doors on results day, and you can speak to our confirmation line, and we can obviously let you know over the phone if you've been able to secure that place. So you are able to sort of speak to us on the day to find out, and like I say, hopefully at some stage the UCAS will update to also reflect that as well.
Amazing. Thank you so much. So we do want to tell you a little bit about accommodation. We will have a whole live stream next month on this topic. So this is just very briefly going through the basic information. Please come back and see us next month it most likely will be on the 5th of March, but keep an eye on your emails and we'll send you the invite. We'll go kind of through everything more in detail. But on the topic of accommodation, when to start thinking about it?
I would start thinking about it now. I would start thinking about it as soon as possible if you haven't already. So again, from your sort of different university choices, one of the things that you're doing when you're going to open days is probably going to have a look at accommodation. So again, if you've not been to a DMU open day, come on down and come and have a look at the accommodation if you haven't already. There's lots of different opportunities for you to look at the different spaces around campus that will vary based on, budget, size, location. They're all relatively local to the campus, within maximum 10 minutes walk if you're a slow walker, so you can get around really easily. So you can come and have a conversation with our accommodation team about all the different prices, whether you're looking for a slightly bigger bedroom, whether you want an ensuite, shared kitchen spaces, all of that kind of good stuff. But that's all part of that kind of research that you'll do into your 5-choice university. So that's really important that you do that if you haven't already. Now, you will be able to start actually sort of thinking about accommodation from when our accommodation opens on the 10th of March. So if you have put us as your firm choice, you should receive details about how to book accommodation after that point. But we do recommend that you start thinking early so that you've got opportunities to have a look at all the different spaces and hopefully get the one that you're really keen to have a look at. And hopefully in that the accommodation live stream, they'll be able to go through all the ins and outs of how the booking process works. What it will allow you to do is pick the building and the room that you want to be in, I believe. So they'll be able to go through that whole process in terms of how to book your accommodation. And hopefully they'll be able to showcase a few of the different buildings that we've got on campus if you haven't had an opportunity to actually come on and see them for yourself.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, our live stream will be 5 days before it opens. So on the 5th of March, we'll have an expert on accommodation, so someone from that team. So if you do start looking around and then you have some questions, just come back to us on the 5th of March and you'll be able to get the answer from the best expert on campus. Do you live in student halls?
I do live at home. I'm from Leicester.
Oh.
Yeah. So it is pretty easy to commute here. But I do want to touch on the walking distance thing. That's one good thing about DMU. Everything is literally walking distance. Like if you want to go to one like I have lessons sometimes in different buildings.
Yeah.
So it's much easier if they are close to go. But unfortunately, I do live at home here, Leicester.
But that's so true.
Yeah.
Certain campuses, sometimes you have to kind of go
Yeah.
through the whole
Yeah.
city, and then like, imagine if
That's
a bus
horrid.
is late.
Yeah.
It kind of has a very American feel to it, doesn't it? The
That's
campus.
so true. That's so true.
It's everything all in one.
Yeah.
How about you? Do you live in student halls?
Yeah, I do. I've lived there for 3 years.
Oh wow! How did that? Was that an important part of your decision making?
I would say yes. In Leicester in general, there is so many accommodations available.
Yeah.
Too many options at this point. What you want, you will find. There's houses, there's student accommodations, there are private halls, like there's so much of them. So I think that was important for me. Apart from that, I really like the fact that, like he said, like when you're booking your accommodations, you can actually book the room and the building, whereas some universities, you just have to just book a building and then they just put you anywhere. But I could actually pick the room. Like, I remember I was like, oh, should I pick second floor, third floor, first floor? I was really thinking so deeply about it, but I really liked that. And throughout my 3 years being in university in DMU, the accommodations are so close. I was coming to campus today. I left my house like 5 minutes before, and I still got here on time. So I think that kind of, you put you at peace because you're like, okay. I mean, there's no bus delays, there's no this, there's no that. I think my first year accommodation was literally like 5 minutes away. I remember I'll have lectures at like 9 a.m. I'll be coming out of my house at like 8:55, and I'm like, oh my god. And I would still get there like literally before 9. So I think that it was really close. I really enjoyed that. And even now, like the farthest I've ever lived from uni is like 10 minutes, 15 minutes walk, and that is not bad. I feel like that's really good compared to some other places where you might have to walk like 30 minutes, 40 minutes. If you do still want to live like far away, I mean, you can, but you have the option to live close as well.
Yeah.
And I think that's really good. Like if I want to go to the city center, it's 10 minutes walk. If I want to go to campus, it's 5 minutes walk. If I want to go to the train station, it's 15 minutes walk. So it's like everything is a circle, if that makes sense. And I think the accommodations as well, depending on your budget, what you want, you will definitely find something for you. If you want an ensuite, if you want a studio, if you want like shared toilet, shared kitchen, there is something for you there. And I know from DMU as well, they give you guaranteed accommodation if you're coming in first year.
Yes.
So I think that's really reassuring. At least I will get a space, definitely. So yeah.
Yeah, you've beat me to the point there. That was literally the last part I was going to make about first year's a guarantee, because I know there's been a few people that are sort of asking those questions. But yeah, I think that proximity is so important, and we've just been able to roll out,
Literally.
out of bed 5 minutes before a lecture and still be there on time is
Very important.
brilliant. But I think it's part of that research that students will do is sort of deciding. Yes, obviously bringing budget into that conversation, being able to look at student finance and knowing, right, I know that from my maintenance loan, I'm going to be entitled to this, and this is how much I've got saved up, and this is how much sort of support network I'll have to sort of pay for accommodation. Being able to look at all the different price ranges and decide, right, okay, well, actually, I quite like my own space. I'm going to have my own bedroom. I'm going to have my own bathroom, but I'll share a kitchen so I can get to know my flatmates. So there's different options for lots of different students. So definitely worth having a look at that. If you jump on the DMU website, you can see all the different accommodations that we look after.
Yeah.
Amazing. So we've got a short video that will give you an idea of what some of our halls look like, and then we'll come back to answer more of your questions.
Greetings. My name is Sydney, and welcome to the tour of one of our fantastic accommodations right in the heart of the city. Newark Point is right on campus, overlooking the River Soar. It's 10 minutes from the city center. Let's have a look. Fast internet is included in the rent, and TV connection points in bedrooms and kitchen. Security-wise, Newark Point offers 24-hour security system, CCTV, and secure entry areas. Each flat has 5 bedrooms. Each bedroom is fitted with a nice table, a comfy bed, and ensuite facilities. The shared kitchen has a nice place to socialize and unwind. Fitted with a nice breakfast bar, we have other facilities like a cooker, oven, microwave, and toaster, and of course a fridge and a freezer. Don't forget to clean up with the wonderful cleaning supplies. Newark Point also has coinless laundry facilities in addition to its secure bike storage and outdoor courtyard. For socializing, the common room is a great place to hang out, featuring a nice TV area, dedicated study spaces, and even a nice pool table. And that's a wrap of our tour of Newark Point. If you're an art design student just like me, well, you'll love it. as it's just a road right across from our award-winning Vijay Patel building. It takes me only 30 seconds to go to my studio. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you around.
Welcome back. So, we're going to answer some of your questions now. We had a look through and we've noticed one of the students mentioning that they have a pharmacy interview tomorrow. So keep our fingers crossed. We just wanted to add that there's nothing to worry about. It doesn't feel like an interview. It's more to kind of like get to know you, ensure that kind of you're aware of what the course is about, that this is a good fit for you. You've done an interview for nursing.
Yeah.
What was that for you like?
Funny enough. It was
No,
it was my first ever interview, and I was like, okay. When I finished, I was like, I don't know if it was an interview. It felt more like a conversation.
Yeah.
It was just really chill. I think the most important thing is just to know why you're actually studying that course. I think that's the main thing. If you're studying it for the right reasons, you know why you're studying. You've done your bit of research, for example, into the NHS values, those kind of things, you will be okay, because that's kind of what they're asking you for. And I was just relax. Like, just relax. Go there, just focused, and you'll be okay.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they are going to be the people that are teaching you, hopefully, in the future. So they just want to get to know you a little bit better, and I think it's that getting that passion across. I think is really important. Like I said, that's where that conversation element comes into it. Which is, so if you can nail that and show them that you are really sort of committed and passionate for that sort of area. Obviously, in your case, it was nursing, but in the student's case, it's pharmacy. Hopefully, you know, just be your best self and put that across, but bringing up things like the NHS sort of core values, that's really important, because it just shows that you've got that kind of mindset already to sort of go into the world of sort of healthcare and that type of thing.
Shout out to one more student who just got their offer.
Brilliant. Congratulations. Well done.
Alongside with everyone else who's watching who got their offer from DMU. Okay, let me go for a couple more questions. So there was one question from earlier regarding accommodation. Can you provisionally book accommodation? I feel like you have to have your firm.
Yes.
You have to have an offer in order to book accommodation.
Yes, and you will receive all the details from our accommodation team once it's firm, once the accommodation opens on the 10th of March, as far as I'm aware.
Now, a question for our lovely students. What would a typical day at DMU be like in terms of structure, like study hours, break hours, and everything else?
I think ours is a little bit different from nursing. So if you're doing like block teaching, usually you have 6 weeks of studying of the same subject. I'm not sure how many hours it is, but we get 2 seminars and 1 lecture. So I'm not sure how many hours it totals up. But with block teaching, that's one good thing, is that you get a lot of free time to do your reading or get any opportunities like around. That's one of the reasons why I was able to do the front-runner internship, because of block teaching. So that's usually my typical day, is probably lectures and seminars in different days, and then you have the rest of your day doing your reading and your part-time job.
How many days per week do you have lectures?
I think 3.
Three typically.
It genuinely depends on your course. Maybe it is even 2 that want to combine it together in one day, so you don't have to come every day, or even 3, depending. Because of my final year now, we have 2 blocks together. I'm coming here like 4 days, but usually was 3 days. Yeah.
Okay. How about you, TJ?
To be fair, for nursing, and I want to say most healthcare courses,
True.
your day-to-day activities are not fixed. It's quite different. Every day is different. This week I might have 4 days. Next week I might have 5 days. So it really depends. I might have 9 to 5 today, but tomorrow I might have just 11 to 1. So it depends. The latest you will finish a lecture is 5. Maybe once in a while 6, but I think that's only 1 lecture since I've been here. Most times the latest you finish a lecture is 5, and the earliest you start a lecture is 9. A day to day, I mean, wake up, get ready, come to lecture. With our timetables, it literally shows you your timetable, what lecture you're having, where the lecture is, and what lecturer is teaching you. So you can see everything on there, and then you can just make your way there. usually you would have at least a minimum of 1 hour lunch break in between. If it is a 9 to 5 lecture, you will have a minimum of 1 hour, sometimes 2 hours. It just depends. But the good thing about DMU is you have your timetable way in advance. I have my timetable for June right now. Some things might change, but they will let you know. So I can actually plan ahead. And yeah, I think that's the most important thing. And then when you finish your lectures, let's say 5 o'clock you finish, you can get food literally right on campus or close to campus, and then go home if you want to, or go out with your friends. That's kind of what day to day looks like at DMU, to be fair.
I think one thing that is different from nursing and health and life science is that with business or even other courses, I believe our lecturers try to keep the same days usually, so we can organize our week properly. So a lot of us do have part-time job to kind of support us throughout this university, and it's good to have that already like fixed time that I know. Again, we already have our timetable as well until June, so that is good. I can already plan ahead if I want to go vacation, you know, and something like I already know the days where I'm going, so it's nice. Yeah,
I think it's fair to say as well, it's not always. Certain courses obviously will be, but it won't always be a sort of full schedule of 9 to 5 every day. With university, there's a lot of independent learning that comes with it. You know, you might have a 2-hour lecture, but off the back of that lecture, there's an hour's reading required that you need to bring then to a seminar, or you need to take that learning from the seminar into a workshop space. So a lot of it's very kind of interlinked, and a lot of it's very much kind of down to you to kind of fill in the gaps of a lot of that learning and a lot of that work. So whilst for a lot of courses, like you said, things like business, and I back in the day did an IT course, and a lot of it was, you know, you've got this lab space dedicated to this work, but then you've also got additional 2 hours on top of that you're expected to sort of make up the time for. So a lot of it can be quite flexible, and a lot of it can be down to you to work when you feel is best for you and work it around your own schedule.
You might think there's not many hours, but a lot of it is independent learning. So you do need to, the whole point of university is being independent, and you doing the readings that are assigned to you and doing the whatever the lecturer is asking you to do before coming to the seminar. But
because that's how you'll get the most out of it, right?
Yeah. And it's nice, again, I keep mentioning block teaching, but that reading that we get in between is good to relax, but also kind of prepare for our next module, because you can start kind of researching like what is happening. They already will upload the reading for that module that we are doing, and kind of look also at the assessment. Have I done this before? And you get feedback by then already, so you're ready to do better in your next one.
I think that's the biggest advantage of block teaching, honestly, because when I studied, it was all at the same time. By December time, you have an assignment from every module, and then I literally once made the same mistake in all of the same assignments, and then I got it back, and it's like, oh, thanks. Now I have to wait until the end of the year, pretty much, to incorporate it, whilst you get to kind of slowly improve as you go along with block teaching, right?
Yeah. Remember, like, my referencing wasn't good. I had to reference it wrong, but that was literally my feedback. So it was so good, especially in first year. You're so confused on what's happening, but because there's so much support in the library as well, we have like these 500 words an hour sessions where you can just sit there with random people and do your assignment. Isn't that so cool?
I wanted to know that.
You can do that, but yeah, that's pretty cool.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Another question we had is, what support does DMU provide for students with a learning disability or who are neurodivergent? Here goes me being a foreigner. And how does it ensure equal access to their studies?
So for students that are looking for that sort of additional support, we can tailor as much of that support to the individual. So obviously every student's going to be different, and it's going to have different sort of needs and requirements and support to make sure that they make the most out of their learning. So what we would say is, if you are putting us down as your firm choice, I would get in touch with us and sort of start that conversation as early as you can, particularly obviously if you've put it on your UCAS application, making sure that we start that conversation as early as we can, so that whatever support that you need, the second that you arrive on campus, we're sort of ready and prepared to kind of give you that support, so that you don't arrive on campus, you do a few weeks of study, and you're still waiting for whatever that kind of equipment or support or whatever it might be that you need is not ready in place for you. So if you can get that conversation with us early doors, we can sort of get that set up so that when you arrive, we'll have that conversation. You'll meet with one of our welfare and transition staff members who can sort of go through that process, and then they can be a point of contact to provide you that additional support. And then again, this is something that we can do on a case by case for each individual student that is looking for that individual support. And if you sort of make your way through your studies and you think, actually, I could do with extra support, you can go to that team at any point and ask for that additional support from there. So there's lots of different ways that we can give you that support, again, depending on what it is you feel that you might need, whether it's something really, really simple or whether it's something that you need to go into a little bit more of a conversation with. We can sort of have that with you prior to you actually applying or prior to you actually making that firm decision, so that you know exactly what we can do for you, and then you can make that decision from there. So I think it's really important that you get in touch with us, let us know what support you might need, and we can sort of help you out from there.
Wonderful. Before we go through the remainder of the questions, I think it would be nice for us to very quickly cover UCAS Extra and Clearing,
Sure.
which is quite far in the kind of journey, and maybe something that most of you will not have to worry about at all. But we just wanted to kind of maybe demystify some of the phrases that you might have heard but not really kind of pinpointed the definitions. Would you
Sure.
mind going through UCAS Extra?
I can do very quickly. So for those of you that don't know, UCAS Extra is something that opens sort of late February, from the 26th of February, according to my tablet. And it allows students, if they wanted to add an additional offer onto their UCAS application, they can do so. So if you've used all 5 of your UCAS choices already, but you haven't received any offers, you can then, once that opens up, you can pay a little bit extra to UCAS and actually add on an additional offer to your UCAS application. So if you are in a position where you haven't received any offers from university, UCAS Extra gives you the ability to add that additional offer onto your application. Hopefully, as Martha just said, hopefully you won't need that because you'll receive all 5 of your offers back. But it's nice to know that there's that additional sort of safety net there for you for UCAS Extra. And it's a great option for those students where, as I say, perhaps the original 5 offers didn't work out, or if you are completely reconsidering your offers. Let's say you do get your 5 offers back from 5 different universities or 5 different choices, and you decide, actually, do you know what, I've completely changed my mind and I want to do something else. UCAS Extra is the ability for you to go onto UCAS and actually submit that as an additional offer that will be then sent to the universities. So even though that sort of initial deadline for UCAS has passed, there are additional opportunities for you to do that later on if you do reconsider.
How about clearing?
And then clearing, so clearing obviously does, for a lot of students, takes place on results day. But what a lot of people don't know is that clearing does actually open a little bit earlier than results day. We typically open clearing at the beginning of July. So if you are thinking, actually, if you're in a position where, again, perhaps you've reconsidered, perhaps you're sort of thinking, do you know what, I've applied to DMU for computer science, but actually I want to become a dancer and you want to pursue a career in dance. Brilliant, fantastic. You might be able to use clearing as another opportunity to reconsider your offers and actually get an offer through universities that way. So clearing is a fantastic opportunity for that. If you do reconsider your offers, or again, you are in a position where you sadly haven't been able to secure any offers from your initial 5 choices. So using UCAS Extra and using clearing as an opportunity, almost as an additional sort of safety net, if you're thinking, gosh, this is a big decision to make right now, I need a little bit more time, you do still have some opportunities to apply a little bit later. Obviously, bear in mind that for certain universities, not all courses will be available through UCAS Extra and clearing. So for a lot of our more competitive courses, typically a lot of the spaces may already be filled up at that stage, but for a lot of other courses that are open at that stage, you are able to then use these additional opportunities to get yourself an offer from a university. So for a lot of students that actually go through clearing typically every single year, they've never even thought about university. So if you've got a mate who's picked up the results on results day, seeing all their friends going to university and think, actually, do you know what, I want to go to university too, that's an opportunity again to actually be made an offer on results day to go to university along with everyone else. So lots of reasons why you might use these additional sort of safety nets and these additional tools. So they're worth just knowing about at this stage, just in case you fall into any of those particular criteria.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. We're nearing the end of this live stream. We have a couple more questions to answer. I think it would be good to go through them. So first and foremost, just wanted to put this question up or more of a comment. Thank you so much for letting us know. It's been useful. We're really glad to hear that.
That's it's useful to know.
There is a question regarding timetables. Are you told in advance your timetable for the next day? Obviously, the timetable, I don't know exactly when do you get the timetable. It's around like a week before you start your studies?
I think when you do your induction, isn't it?
No,
Yeah.
before your induction, but they will let you know, like, oh, you're getting your timetable on the, let's say, 14th of September. You're getting your timetable on, like, the 21st of September. But usually it's always, like, later September, something like that.
Yeah.
And then you have it for the whole year, so you know what you're going to be doing in like...
I don't think so. For us, it's a block. So every block we know
Okay.
what to do, and then once reading week comes, that's the new block starts, and then you get that one. But usually it's very consistent, unless they need like certain rooms or you're doing certain things differently.
Yeah. So
But-
I guess just to kind of help people understand if they're not familiar. So the block teaching is kind of almost every term. It's every sort of 7 weeks.
Yeah.
But your timetable does change just that little bit every term for each block because it's a different topic you're discussing at that point, isn't it?
Yeah. So maybe you would get like one lesson not on Friday anymore, or it would be on Wednesday. It generally depends on the lecturer as well. So what you're studying or when their availability is, but you would know in advance. Like I believe as soon as you kind of submit your assignments, you already kind of know what to do next.
Yeah.
In few days, you will start knowing what other lessons you will have the next block. Yeah. They're very quick. Yeah.
I think for my course and for most healthcare courses, you do get your timetable basically for the whole year, if I'm being honest.
Sure.
Okay.
But like I said before, a few things might change. Like, for example, you might get an email saying, oh, this particular lecture has been changed or it has been switched to another day, but they will send you an email. And we have the DMU app, and every single thing is uploaded on the DMU app. Like, it literally says it on there. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's amazing.
And just as the last one on that point as well, so for reading week, I guess is a little bit like half term for schools. It's
Yeah.
not quite the same, but it's an opportunity because the university is still open. You can still come onto campus, you can still use the library, you can still use the study spaces, but typically there's not really teaching happening during reading week. So it's a bit of a sort of a breathing time to sort of catch up on stuff. So for those of you that weren't sure about when we've mentioned reading week, that's kind of what it's like.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question. Can you defer your place for a year after getting a confirmed offer?
You can. So what you can do is you can contact our admissions team, so you can let them know that you'd like to defer your place, and they'll go through that process and hold that place for you. So if you are thinking that's what you want to do, absolutely do get in touch with us and let us know that's what you're planning to do. So yes, absolutely.
We have another question. In terms of mental health support, is there anything you would say is more specific to DMU when supporting students in this way? I'm aware that we have a single point of access appointment, which every student can join, and that's with trained specialists at DMU, and they kind of talk to you about kind of anything that you want to discuss. They may either help you on their level or refer you to further services. Perhaps it may be something that is kind of outside of scope of their experience or kind of what they can help with. But that's what I know, that a lot of students have definitely used that, because it's a tricky time. Sometimes it can be a small thing. Sometimes even some of it can be just, I'm stressed about my time management. So it kind of blends with a lot of other things. And
It does. Yeah, I think it can be down to time management. It can be potentially financial struggles or sort of other health and sort of welfare type things that you might want to discuss with them. And at least then what that can do is if there's for any reason that needs to cascade into your learning, they can sort of feed that into your personal tutors to let them know about any potential sort of situations or knock-on effects that might have to your studies. So it's again in similar way to the sort of disability and sort of welfare service that we have. It's having those conversations with the right people and making sure that you sort of take advantage of the support that is on offer.
And also, like, if you do need to go outside of the university for kind of different kind of support, it's useful to have someone who can help you navigate through that, because it is a complicated system sometimes, isn't it? So there's definitely loads of support. I would say this is one of the things that I really always appreciated about DMU, is that it like helps you when you do have a problem. I've kind of mentioned that a couple of times throughout the live stream. So we are very much at the end of the live stream. There is a couple of questions that we weren't able to answer. there will be contact details for our inquiries team in the chat. It's a lovely team. TJ mentioned talking to them a lot of the time. So it's a lovely team to get in contact with if you do have any questions. They're also very knowledgeable on loads of different areas of the university.
Yeah, and if you don't like to call, you can just drop them a WhatsApp and they'll be able to help you out on WhatsApp as well. So if we weren't able to answer the questions, just drop us a WhatsApp. And Riley is frantically typing away at the back trying to answer as many questions in the chat as she can as well.
And as I said before, we do have an accommodation live stream coming up. So if you do start looking around and have any questions, just see us next month. And then we'll be able to answer all of them with accommodation expert. Thank you so much for joining us. And we hope to see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.